A veterinarian rescues a chain dog but when the owner finds out he dies something terrible, Emily Carter wiped the sweat from her brow as she finished her last appointment of the day. The Georgia summer heat was particularly brutal this year, and her small veterinary clinic in Millbrook isn't exactly equipped with state-of-the-art air conditioning. Still, she wouldn't have it any other way. This clinic housed in a converted Victorian home on the outskirts of town had been her dream for the past 15 years. At 38, Emily had built a reputation as one of the most caring veterinarians in Cherokee County. Her gentle demeanor with animals and unwavering dedication to their welfare had earned her the trust of local pet owners and rescue organizations alike. The walls of her office were adorned with photos of successful recoveries, dogs, cats, and even a few exotic pets she'd helped save over the years. It was just past 7 in the evening when her receptionist Maria knocked on her office door. Dear Carter, here's an anonymous call. You might want to take Emily's heart. Sang anonymous calls usually meant one thing: animal abuse. She'd handled dozens of such cases over the years, each leaving its mark on her soul. Put it through please. The voice on the other end was trembling, clearly disguising itself. Here's a Rottweiler is been chained up for months. No food, no water. Just a chain, please. You have to help him. The caller provided an address on the outskirts of town in an area Emily knew was riddled with poverty and crime. Can you tell me more about the situation? Emily asked, but the line had already gone dead. She sat there for a moment, staring at the phone. The responsible thing would be to call animal control, file a report, and let the proper authorities handle BT, but Emily knew all too well how these cases often played out: bureaucratic delays, insufficient evidence, or worse, warnings that give abusive owners time to hide their crimes. Maria, she called out, cancel my morning appointments tomorrow. So things come up that night. Emily could barely sleep. Her mind kept wandering to the Rottweiler, imagining its suffering. Her own dog, a rescued golden retriever named Sophie, sensed her distress and curled up close to her own the bed. Emily ran her fingers through Sophie's hair, remembering the day she'd found her abandoned by the highway 5 years ago. At dawn, Emily drove to the address she'd been given. The neighborhood was even worse than she'd imagined: abandoned cars littered the streets, and many houses had boarded up windows. She parked her car a block away and walked the rest of the distance, her heart pounding with each step. The house at 1247 Maple Street was a dilapidated single-story structure with peeling paint and a yard overgrown with weeds, and there in the farthest corner of the property she saw him, the Rottweiler. Emily's breath caught in her throat. In 15 years of veterinary practice she'd seen her share of abuse cases, but this was different. The dog was essentially a skeleton with fair HBS ribs protruding sharply against HDS doll. Mattered caught a heavy chain far too large. For even a healthy dog HBS size was wrapped round HBS neck the metal having worn through the fur and left raw infected skin underneath what struck Emily most. Yearned the physical wounds today. Where severe BT was the dog's ace day. Held a depth of suffering that made her chest tighten, yet somehow there was still a spark of life in the she. RP roached slowly speaking in soft soothing tones. His there body it's okay. I'm here to help the rottweiler's tail. Give the faintest wag and here tempted to lift HBS hit even that small. Movement seemed to cost him tremendous effort. Emily's professional assessment kicked in severe malnutrition, dehydration, infected wounds from the chain by cerebral heartworm infection given the lack of care, but he was alive, and where there was life there was hope. She reached into her bag for water and some soft food she brought, clutching TRM. Within the dog's reach he didn't lunge for BT as many starving dogs would. Instead he looked at her first as if asking permission. That simple gesture told Emily Valeremze about HDS inherent gentleness. Go ahead, sweetheart, it's all yours. As the dog ate and drank with careful measured movements, Emily examined the chain. BT was secured with a heavy padlock to a stake driven deep into the ground. This wasn't a temporary situation. This dog had been imprisoned here for a long time. She was so focused on the dog that she didn't hear the approaching footsteps until a shadow fell over her. The smell hit her first, a nauseating mixture of stale alcohol and unwashed clothes. What the hell do you think you're doing on my property? Emily turned slowly to face a man who could only be the dog's owner. Jake Miller was in HDS early 40s too hard living head. Get him considerably. HBS face was wetted with several days worth of stubble and bloodshot as that spake of a recent drinking binge. MDR Emily Carter, a veterinarian, she said, fighting to keep her voice steady. I received a call about a dog in distress. Rex ain't in distress. Jake's pet is my property, and you're trespassing. Get out before I call the cops. Emily stood her ground. Though her heart was racing. Sir, this dog needs immediate medical attention. The condition is in its criminal neglect. Please let me help him. I have a clinic. Help him. YKS leave us harsh like those other do-gooders helped Ranger na. Thanks lady, now get off my property before I make you the threat in HBS. Voice was unmistakably Emily. No, she should leave call the outrights do things the proper way, but as she looked back at the Rottweiler Rex, something in her snapped. She shouldn't leave him here. She oughtn't him not living without this dog, she said, her voice firmer than she felt. YK's face darkened. He took a step toward her, fists clenched. You got 3 seconds. What happened next seemed to unfold in slow motion. Despite HDS weakened state, Rex suddenly found the strength to stand. The sound he made wasn't quite a growl. BT was more like a warning rumble deep in HBS chest. He positioned himself between Emily and Jake. HDS emerged, body trembling with The effort but HDS stands unmistakably. He was protesting her jig seemed. Startled by this display from the dog. It erbused for so long he took a step back, confusion briefly replacing anger. On HB's face, Emily seized the moment she hid bolt cutters in her bag brought for exactly this purpose, and in one swift motion she cut through the chain near. Rex neck on boy she whispered urgently to her amazement and relief. Rex understood he stayed close to her side as they made their way toward the street. HDS, movements slabad determined behind. TRM, Jake hit recovered from HBS. Surprise you're making a big mistake he shouted, I find you hear me, Get him back. Emily didn't stop until they reached her car. She helped Rex into the back seat, her hands shaking as she started the engine. In the rearview mirror she could see Jake standing in HDS yard filming her car with HBS phone. He was smiling now, and somehow that was more terrifying than HBS anger. The drive to her clinic was tense. Emily kept checking her mirrors, half expecting to see EKS truck pursuing TRM. Rex lay quietly in the back seat, HBS eyes fixed on her with an intensity that brought tears to her eyes. It's okay boy, she kept seeing how she wasn't sure who she was trying to reassure, Rex or herself. You're safe now, I promise. At the clinic Maria's eyes widened as Emily rushed in with Rex. My God, Dr. Carter, what happened? No time to explain, called Dr. Rodriguez. I need HBS help. Dr. Rodriguez was a colleague who specialized in emergency veterinary medicine, and Maria. What I did wasn't exactly legal. If anyone asks, Rex was brought in as a stray. The next few hours were a blur of activity. Dr. Rodriguez arrived quickly, and together they worked to stabilize Rex. The detailed examination revealed the full extent of HDS suffering: severe malnutrition, dehydration, multiple infected wounds, heartworm disease, and evidence of old fractures that had healed poorly. Is lucky to be alive, Dr. Rodriguez said as they reviewed Rex's blood work. The chain around HBS neck. Those wounds are infected much longer, and he could have developed sepsis. Emily nodded grimly. He needs surgery to clean those wounds properly. And look at these old breaks. HBS left hind leg, 3 ribs. This ain't extradance. Emily. Dr. Rodriguez's voice was gentle but concerned. What exactly happened today? The truth, she told him. Everything. When she finished, he was quiet for a long moment. You know this could cost you your license, he said. Finally, what you did was theft. Technically speaking, no matter how justified. I know, Emily replied, watching Rex sleep peacefully under sedation, but looking at him now, I do better again in a heartbeat. The next morning, Emily arrived at her clinic early to check on Rex. She found him alert and already showing signs of improvement. Taushinu HDS recovery would be a long journey. What she didn't expect to find was two police officers waiting in her office. Dr. Carter, one of TRM, stepped forward. Officer Bennett, we need to talk about a complaint filed by Jake Miller regarding The theft of HDS dog Yemilis heart sank. But she isn't surprised shit none. There would be consequences what she hadn't expected was the support that emerged in the following days. The local news picked up the story and soon it went viral. Photos of Rex's condition sparked outrage on social media while some criticized Emily for taking the law into her own hands. Many more praised her courage. Former clients came forward with character references and local animal rights organizations related to her defense. Emily's lawyer Sarah Goldberg proved to be a goddess and a former prosecutor who now specialized in animal welfare cases. Sarah saw something in the case that others had missed. Jake Miller's name rang a bell. She told Emily, "During their first meeting I did some digging. 10 years ago he was investigated in connection with a dog fighting ring, but charges were dropped due to lack of evidence and Rex's injuries. Some of those old breaks are consistent with dog fighting. This information led to a deeper investigation. Sarah worked with local law enforcement to build a case, and gradually a disturbing pattern emerged. Jake isn't just an abusive owner. He was part of a larger network of illegal dog fighting operations across several counties. The police needed evidence, however, and that's where Emily found herself facing a difficult choice. They wanted her to help with an undercover operation. Its dangers. Officer Bennett warned Miller's already hostile toward you, but if you could approach him, pretend you want to make amends, maybe express interest in the dog fighting world. Emily's first instinct was to refuse, but then she thought of Rex of all the other dogs who might be suffering similar fates. She said the operation was carefully planned. Emily would approach Jake at a local bar. He frequented, claiming she felt guilty about taking Rex and wanted to understand HBS word better. She wore a wire and undercover officers were always nearby. The first meeting was terrifying. Jake was suspicious initially, but Emily had prepared her story carefully. She claimed that treating Rex had opened her eyes to how tough and resilient fighting dogs could be. She expressed interest in learning more, suggesting her veterinary skills could be useful to HBS business. Over the next few weeks, Jake gradually began to trust her. He revealed bits and pieces of the operation, locations, names, upcoming fights. Each piece of information was carefully documented by the police, but it was during one of these conversations that Emily learned something unexpected about YK's past. "I used to be like you," he said one night. Several drinks in hit a dog Rottweiler named Ranger. Best damn dog you'd ever met. Raised him from a pup. HBS voice changed as he spoke about Ranger becoming so after almost vulnerable. Some guys stole him, found out later they forced him into fighting. By the time I tracked him down, YK's hands tightened around HBS glass. He isn't my Ranger anymore. They turned him into something else, something violent. Emily realized then that YK's cruelty Stimet from HBS on trauma it didn't. Excuse HBS actions but BT helped her. Understand TRM, the investigation came to a head during a plant read on YKS property the police hit evidence of a major dog fighting event scheduled. There Emily was supposed to attend as part of her cover but something went wrong. Jake had discovered her deception. Whether someone had tipped him off or it figured BT out himself isn't clear. But when Emily arrived at HBS house that evening she found him waiting with a gun. You think him stupid, he snarled HBS, hands shaking as he pointed the weapon at her. You're wearing a wear right now. Aren't you? Emily raised her hands slowly. Jake, please think about Ranger. What happened to him was terrible, but what you're doing now, you're becoming the very thing that destroyed him. For a moment something flickered in YKS. A pain, resignation, maybe even regret. But then HBS их pressure hardened again. Shut up, you don't know anything about. The police burst in at that moment in the chucks that followed. Jake fired HDS. Gone, the bullet missed Emily by inches, embedding itself in the wall behind her. Within seconds Jake was disarmed and in custody. The raid revealed more than anyone had expected. In addition to evidence of dog fighting, they found documents linking YKS operation to similar rings across 3 states. HBS arrest led to multiple investigations and dozens of dogs being rescued. The legal proceedings that followed were intense. Emily faced charges for her initial theft of regs, but given the circumstances and the evidence she helped uncover, the charges were eventually dropped. Jake and HDS associates faced multiple felony counts. During YKS trial something unexpected happened when called to testify. He broke down on the stand. He talked about Ranger, about how losing him had broken something inside him, how it started drinking, gotten involved with dog fighting as a way to numb HBS pain and eventually become the very thing it once ate. I look at Rex now, he said, glancing at Emily, and I see what Ranger could have been if someone had saved him. What I could have been if it made different choices. YKS testimony along with HDS cooperation in identifying other dog fighting operations led to a slightly reduced sentence. More importantly, VT led to a program being established at the local prison where inmates could work with rescued dogs, helping to rehabilitate TRM while working on their own rehabilitation. As for Rex, HDS recovery was remarkable. Under Emily's care he gained weight. HBS wounds healed and HBS gentle nature fully emerged. He became a favorite at the clinic, especially with children. HBS story inspired Emily to establish a rehabilitation center for abused dogs, with Rex serving as its ambassador. A year after the rescue, Emily received an unexpected letter from prison.